Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why the Redskins just made a major upgrade at quarterback.
I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why I wasn't blown away at all by James Harden's historic performance last night. Speak for yourself starts now. Historic's a big word.
You were impressed with Kobe's 60, but not James Harden.
One of the great Kobe nights ever.
All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NFL analyst Michael Vick and Colin's co-host on The Herd, Christine Leahy. Let's move to Washington, D.C., which is where Alex Smith is headed after the Chiefs traded the quarterback to the Redskins for a third-round pick and corner Kendall Fuller. The move means Kirk Cousins is on his way out of town after an up-and-down tenure. And while Smith has had some ups and downs of his own during his career, the last 3 seasons, Smith has a better record, fewer picks, and more playoff starts than Cousins. Cowherd, do you think Alex Smith will be a success in Washington?
Yeah, he's been a success everywhere. And once again, he gets an offensive guy. He succeeded with Harbaugh, he succeeded with Andy Reid, and he's going to succeed with Jay Gruden. You know what's happening in this league? Have you noticed this? The old guys are winning a lot. Why? Last 4 or 5 years, it's a no-huddle league. So the guys walk into the line that have been in this league 8, 10, 12. Tom Brady said this last year. He said, I've seen everything. If you're a young guy in this league and you walk to that line with no huddles, it's a phone book of a playbook. These veteran guys, they don't want to play longer because in the no-huddle league, they have an advantage over all these young guys. I think he's going to go there and be very successful.
I like your argument of his experience being valued in the NFL. Perhaps Tom Brady has opened people's mind. And Alex is a guy, to use your word, very buttoned up, takes care of himself, is all in on football. But I am concerned. I'm concerned because the Redskins don't have any wide receiving help. The Redskins' running back position not nearly as strong as the Kansas City Chiefs with Kareem Hunt. Tight end, Jordan Reed, gets hurt a lot. He's leaving Tyreek Hill, big play wide receiver, Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in football. Kareem Hunt revealed himself as one of the best running backs. Andy Reid, a tremendous play caller, no shot at Jay Gruden, but he's not going to a situation with as many tools and weapons as he had in Kansas City. And the reaction in that Washington locker room to them trading Kendall Fuller and a third-round pick, I think there's going to be a lot more pressure in Washington than perhaps he is anticipating.
So you think that the rest of the team is going to get mad at Alex Smith for being traded to the team? They're going to take it out on him?
No, I don't think that at all. I think the expectations, again, when you give up that much to get someone and he got paid, I think the expectations in that locker room are going to be, hey, man, we just got a quarterback. We're going to the playoffs. We're a Super Bowl threat. I just think expectations and the lack of support around him could be a concern.
I would think that there'd be a lot of support for him, especially because now at least they have some clarity. Kirk Cousins was franchise tagged twice, and also the defense should be thrilled because hopefully they don't have to play as much.
Yeah, it'll be a ton of support. I mean, defenses, they don't like when there's a turnover and they have to run right back out on the field when they just got a 3 and out. And the quarterback turns the ball over and they have to shoot right back out on the field. That doesn't give them an opportunity to rest. I agree with both of you guys. Alex Smith leaves the situation in Kansas City where he had Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, and he goes to a team where, guys are injury prone. Jordan Reed doesn't have the receivers. But then I also like the fact, and what you said, Colin, he's an older guy, older quarterback. He goes into a situation where it's similar to the West Coast system. Jay Gruden studied under John, his brother. So things and concepts would be similar.
Yes.
It gives him an opportunity to go in right away and make the team an instant success.
Remember, Kirk Cousins had some highs, but man, he laid some eggs. Yeah. Kansas City's 4 playoff losses were by 11 points. Alex doesn't lay eggs. You get none of this with Alex. He is the opposite of Cam Newton. Physically, emotionally. I know now, is Alex got limitations? Let me just say this. Athletes are loyal to wins. Last 6 games for Kirk Cousins, 10 touchdowns, 8 picks. That's Kirk Cousins. Boom, 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 boom. Alex is just this. It's a slow, gradual build. Players like that.
The problem, though, Colin, is what I'm arguing is, you're right, Alex Smith is just this. But so are the Washington Redskins. Again, they don't have these dramatic ups. They have been having problems for decades. And again, that's why I keep wondering about it. Will he be successful? Kirk Cousins, had limited success. I think people think he's talented, but it's hard. Washington's organization hasn't been run that well. And again, they took weapons away from Kirk Cousins this season. And will they provide Alex Smith the necessary weapons to be successful in Washington? That's the question.
I think this is an opportunity for the Washington Redskins to build around Kirk Cousins. Not Kirk Cousins, yeah. Alex Smith. If you look at what he can do and the things he's done and how smart he is intellectually on the football field, he'll be able to bring concepts to Jay Gruden from things that he's seen, and it'll help the team flourish. You need leaders like Alex Smith to help a team get better.
With Smith coming to town, Cousins is now heading for parts unknown as a free agent. Now, the quarterback's already drawing interest. Denver, I think they just need a quarterback close to winning. Jets, better than we thought last year. They're not that close. Have a ton of cash to spend. Cousins said yesterday he'd be willing to make sacrifices to win. Whitlock, should he chase wins in Denver or money in New York?
Well, you framed the question, and we framed the question, I think, in an unfair way. If I'm Todd Bowles, you can win here. We won. We overachieved this year when everybody had low expectations.
Right.
Now you're adding Kirk Cousins, a viable quarterback. I think I kind of go back and forth on this. I originally thought, well, you got to go with Elway and that defense. But I like Todd Bowles more than I like Vance Joseph by a pretty wide margin. And so if I were Kirk Cousins, I would go with the coach that I think has a chance to survive. I think Vance Joseph this year is under a lot of pressure, and he could be dealing with an entirely different coaching staff.
My initial takeaway was yours. Oh, Denver's the easy one.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to face Derek Carr twice a year, and Phillip Rivers is not going anywhere with all these veteran quarterbacks. Yeah. And Andy Reid, and I'm sitting there thinking, the Jets, for a New York team, they're the Mets. It's not a lot of pressure, not a lot of expectations. By the way, Brady ain't playing forever. If you sign a 5-year deal, last 3 you might not face Brady. We know the Dolphins can't figure out quarterback. Bills can't figure out quarterback. This is a rare situation where I think I would consider going to the less talented big city team. They are completely in the Giants' shadow. This is not a pressurized team. They're really not. You know what they are? They're the Clippers in L.A. The ceiling's really low. It's true. And I think Cousins could go to the Jets, and I kind of like you. I kind of like Bowles this year. You win 8-9 games, I think they'd be appreciative of him.
Yeah, the one thing Todd Bowles will provide is some defense. So Kirk Cousins will get opportunities to put the team in a position to score points, which is going to be needed with such a young team. But you look at the flip side, he's made $45 million in Washington over the last 2 years. I would pick the team that has the better defense. That way, if I do go out and make mistakes, which Kirk Cousins is prone to do,
yes,
at times, and hopefully he can get better with that. Go with the team that has the defense that can cover up for some of the mistakes.
Overcome some of your. Kirk makes mistakes. Kirk throws picks.
A ton of mistakes.
And why can't the Jets be the team that's going to win? Like you said in the question, I think the Jets could be. And if you look at just the last year, so the Jets had 3 wins over playoff teams last year. The Broncos had none. The Jets had 6 losses by 1 possession. Broncos, 8 of 11 of their losses were by 10 points or more. So I think that the Jets kind of skew more in that direction. And they have the cap space to address all the holes. Yeah. They can build the team around it.
It's an interesting point.
That's what it comes down
Denver's got a good defense, but don't they kind of feel like Seattle? They're getting old and expensive. Like, how long is that Denver defense?
They're talking about trading to leave.
That's what I read yesterday.
Yeah, they're talking about moving on.
So I think Denver feels like that window, regardless of the quarterback, I think it's closed.
And again, my point would be you go to Denver and immediately the national expectations and local Super Bowl team. And it may not be a Super Bowl team based off of where the personnel is age-wise.
We think Denver's a smaller city and the Jets are in New York. Listen, Denver's isolated. It's in the Rocky Mountains. It is the beginning end of that entire region. They are the most popular franchise in about a 6-state region. The Jets are
the Nuggets, really.
But I mean, New York's teams get a lot of talk, but man, the Mets and the Jets are not the Yankees and the Giants.
Yeah, I think there's a lower bar to jump over and exceed expectations in New York. Again, if the Jets win 8 games next year, you would be a hero and carry it around on your shoulder. If the Broncos win 8 games next year with Kirk Cousins,
you're just too
it's
expensive.
a failure. And, did we make another mistake here at quarterback?
I agree with you.
All right, welcome back to the show. Christine Leahy is back, and we're joined now by Fox NBA analyst Eddie House. Let's move to the Cavaliers, who lost to the Pistons last night, but even more importantly, lost Kevin Love for the next 6 to 8 weeks with a broken hand. Bad news is nothing new for LeBron and company this season. With struggles on the court, reports of infighting, and the idea of LeBron leaving in free agency seeming more real every day. Cowherd, should the Cavaliers actually consider trading LeBron James before he leaves?
No, because you'd have to gut a team. They'd give up everything to get LeBron, so LeBron would go to a team. It's like the Melo from Denver. Melo goes to the Knicks from Denver. Knicks had to give up so much to get Melo. They had no players for Melo to play with, so LeBron's gonna go to a team. There's gonna be no players. I mean, that's that. And by the way, LeBron has to okay trades
right,
too.
LeBron's got a no trade clause, but again, should you consider it is the question. And so the reason why you consider it, in my opinion, is because I don't think they can accomplish anything this season. I think they should concede at this point with no Kevin Love. It's over. So I do think they should explore every opportunity to get something in return for LeBron James. And LeBron James may be ready to go.
No, there's no consideration. The organization can't consider it unless LeBron is considering it. And I don't think he's considering it at all. You know what? He's just going to play.
He wouldn't want out of Cleveland.
I mean, again, you have to gut teams to get him. I mean, you have to give up so much to get a LeBron James, and it's not guaranteed he's going to sign back. So why would you? I don't think you would do that.
But if he's leaving, and again, I know he has to okay it, but if he's and maybe he wouldn't because he wouldn't want Cleveland to get something in return.
Well,
he wouldn't want to help
he
Cleveland.
Wouldn't want to go to. He's only going to go to a contender, right? He's not going to go to some random team. And a contender, let's say he goes to Houston. So they give up maybe Trevor Ariza,
Eric Gordon,
Ryan Anderson, and his $42 million contract. Like, do the Cavs really want to hold on to that for 2 years?
You'd have to give up
that
way
kind of
more.
money?
Yeah, Eric
and
Gordon.
a couple first-round picks. Even that isn't worth it for the Cavs to do. It's just you just pick up bad contracts.
LeBron's the player mobility guy. LeBron's going to say, timeout. You ain't trading me. I go where I want to go. I am.
Contract says that.
Well, yeah, I am the player mobility guy. Jordan is his airness. I am his ego. I go where I want on my terms. You're not going to trade me. I think LeBron would be offended by the suggestion he could be traded.
He gets offended by everything.
Even if you're the Cavs, I don't think it's a smart move to do, even if you could trade him, because if you do, you have 0% chance of having him next season. Why not stick it out the rest of the season, see what happens, and then maybe you can keep him.
And whatever team is getting him is not guaranteed he'll sign back. So you're giving up everything to say, okay, we'll have you on loan pretty much, on rent, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to come back. And if they're not a contender, I mean, he's definitely not going to try to go anywhere that's not a contender. He wants to win.
I think the perception right now is that LeBron's coming to Los Angeles in free agency.
I don't agree.
Yeah,
And so,
I think so.
Okay, and so if
have a
I'm
theory.
the Cleveland Cavaliers, don't I at least explore if I can get him to the Clippers or the Lakers now and maybe get something in return? If you've reached the conclusion he's going to L.A. this offseason, why wouldn't you reach out to those two teams and say, can we do it now? And reach out to LeBron. Can we get you over there now if that's where you're headed?
No, because why wouldn't LeBron just play this role then? Sit back and say, hey, you know what? Let's get Lou Will. Let's try to make a run for this. But in the back of his mind, knowing he's going to the Clippers. So now the Cavs give the Clippers their first-round pick. Now the Clippers have 3 first-round picks. And he goes, signs free agent with the Clippers. They have cap space, so they could get another free agent. And then they have 3 first-round picks where they could go get some real talent in the draft or use that as a bargaining tool to go get another free agent or other pieces. I think that's my theory.
I think he's going to Houston.
Well, his boy's there, so it's a good chance.
The other thing about LeBron is that we didn't expect him to ever leave Cleveland, and then we were shocked when he left Miami. LeBron never does what you think. He doesn't. He's not predictable. And so this idea that we all know where he's going, there is still a chance he stays in Cleveland. I wouldn't, but he's got a $30 million home in Akron. It's where his friends are. He's very comfortable. I mean, if you trade away LeBron, what if LeBron's sitting there thinking, I'll give you an example. What if LeVar Ball goes crazy, Lakers tire of it and trade Lonzo? Like it just blows up in the next 2 months. That could happen. And they're just like, we're going to blow this thing up. Well, then the Lakers aren't as appealing. And then all of a sudden, I don't think he's going to go to the Clippers because it's the number 2 brand in L.A. Houston, to me, makes way more basketball sense. I'm not sure he wants to go to Houston.
I can't believe that LeBron, and maybe he will, the rest of this season is irrelevant for LeBron James, in my opinion. They're not winning the championship. They could lose before they get to the finals in the Eastern Conference. I just think this season in Cleveland, the rest of it, is a waste of time for LeBron James.
But whether he's traded or not, it depends completely on if LeBron wants to be traded. And I think LeBron would rather wait and see where all the pieces fall in the offseason before he makes a commitment to a team. Being traded right now, there's too many wild cards.
A lot of them, yeah. I agree with that. The Clippers, where rumors are swirling that DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams could be traded soon after the team shipped Blake Griffin to Detroit on Monday. Now, Doc Rivers denies the team is planning any other moves, but also said the Griffin trade, quote, came out of nowhere. Whitlock, we know Doc didn't want to be part of a rebuild in Boston. Should perhaps the Clippers move on from Doc Rivers?
Yeah, I think regardless of what they did with Blake Griffin, they should consider moving on from Doc Rivers. He had his go there. Jerry West is now in control of the organization, it seems like. And so it's time for Doc. Doc probably wants to move on and do something else now that he doesn't have control of that organization. And so, yeah, I think if you're going to do a rebuild and a revamp, it's going to be a new coach, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. Doc has a strong enough persona and image that as long as Doc stays, it's Doc's team. And even when you had high-profile Chris Paul and high-profile Blake Griffin, marginally high-profile DeAndre Jordan, it felt like Doc's team. So if you really want to start over, and Ballmer's a very emotional guy who thinks big, he's in, tech, aspirational, Bill Gates world, starting over makes a lot of sense to me. And just saying, listen, we like Doc, but Doc's made a ton of money. Maybe move him upstairs or something. But I mean, to me, this whole Clipper thing, it's tired. I never bought into the Lob City anyway, because I think the league's moving to threes, not lobs.
Well, that was old Lob City.
I think you could blow it up, and I don't even think it's offensive to Doc. It's like, Doc, we're just going to start the thing over again.
Well, Doc wanted out of Boston completely because he did not want to go through the rebuild. That was no secret. So whether the Clippers get rid of him or Doc decides that he wants out, I do think that's going to happen. And in this trade, they also picked up Avery Bradley. And remember, Avery played for Doc in Boston, and I don't think they had a great relationship. So that's going to be interesting. And he is an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, but the Clippers will have his bird rights. So there's a good chance that Avery will want to stay, especially having played in Detroit. I know he didn't like it there. He's probably going to want to stay in LA, and then that wouldn't be a good match with Doc. Now the question is, if Doc leaves, where's he going to go? Because he does want all of that control, and he demanded that when he was with LA, but we've seen now that doesn't work. So what team is going to be out there that's willing to give him that kind of control over the team?
I think it's 10 million reasons why Doc is not trying to leave right now. He has one more year left on his contract, and he's making $10 million. So I wouldn't want to just walk away from that and just say, hey, man, I'm done and go somewhere else. So I expect him to want to come back. Now, as far as the upper management maybe making a change, that could happen because, they haven't really been that successful. They made the playoffs. They kind of changed the culture of the Clippers. I played for the Clippers, and it was one of the worst organizations ever. And they actually have flipped that around, flipped the switch, and they're a better organization now, a whole lot better, and that's in part to what Doc has done. Now, if they want to go in a different direction, again, that's totally on upper management. And, where are you going to go? What coach are you going to get? Who's out there right now? You can go David Fizdale and you do a rebuild with that.
Earl Watson, maybe?
Earl Watson, you could throw it, but you got young coach, and then you're going to have a rebuild. And so now you're going to ask the fans to be patient and wait for this rebuild to happen for guys to get there.
Isn't it a business move?
But all the Clippers' decision-making right now seems to be about, does it give us a chance to get LeBron James?
Right.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's why.
I mean, everybody's in the running for that, though. If you have opportunity to be in the running for it, why not? They're cleared up cap space. They got draft picks. I mean,
Right,
and
but
then,
I'm
you know what LeBron? That's why I think the Clippers could be a good line. He likes to handpick his guys, and this will be a good place where he could handpick them. He can't handpick Kuz. He can't handpick Ingram. He can't handpick Zoe. They're already there. He'll be able to get other guys around here that he wants.
My point for saying that is the Doc Rivers decision will be based on how does he fit into the LeBron James puzzle. Maybe there's some weird deal where LeBron James really wants to play for Doc Rivers and they have some great connection.
I think so.
Maybe that's part of it, and then Doc would stay because this would be a quick rebuild. If the rebuild is just over the summer and LeBron James is a part of it, Doc will hang around for that.
I would buy that, except for when you listen to Doc talk and when he was being asked all these questions about the moves, he seemed genuinely surprised about Blake Griffin.
Don't they need to go big? The Lakers are starting to be interesting.
What's bigger than Doc, though, in terms of coaching? Again,
Nobody pays to watch a coach.
No.
True
But
that.
when you say go big, what are you talking about?
I'm
there?
talking about blow it up and start over.
And,
Easier said than done.
blowing it up, too, is, they might be tired of the same voice. Sometimes you're not getting over the hump and it's the same message over and over on loop. Sometimes it could fall on deaf ears.
One more thing about LeBron James. And as we think about the Lakers or whomever, what organization, because is going to give him the kind of control?
Whoever
that
wants him.
I don't think that's so with the Lakers. Their brand is so much bigger than
see what they
even
did with
LeBron
Kobe?
James.
They gave Kobe the keys.
Did they really?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
they
I
gave
think
it.
he snatched the.
No, they gave a lot. they gave a lot of. Yeah, they gave him a lot of money, and it hurt him in the long run. They mortgaged the future for the right now for Kobe.
Welcome back, Eddie House. J-Mac here. Let's move to Houston, where James Harden did something nobody's ever done before. Put up the first 60-point triple-double in NBA history. A win over Orlando. But let's be real, Whitlock. This was a Tuesday night regular season game by a stat-stuffing player in a very fast-paced offense. Chris Paul wasn't there, so he took all the shots. I wasn't impressed in Mike D'Antoni's system, which made Steve Nash in Kobe's prime the best player in the league.
And so I remember when Nash had 60 and a triple-double? You remember when Kobe had 60 and a triple-double? It's never happened before, and you're going to say it's not impressive. The man got 60 points on 30 shots. You know what kind of efficiency that is? 17 of 18 free throws. 75% of the time when the ball left his hand last night, the ball went through the hoop.
2 of his baskets on an assist. They struggled to beat the worst team in the league at home. Yeah, I guess if you wanted to watch the And One tour, it was wonderful. That's not basketball. That's ball hogging, stat stuffing, hot night and
Took
assist.
30 shots, Colin.
No, look, he took 30 shots, made 19, and I want a stat stuffer. I don't know what kind of guy you want on your team, but I want guys that stuffing the stat sheet.
I want guys who pass.
You can't get a triple-double unless you pass and get over 10 assists, which he did.
Remember when you guys that like basketball were cool? Remember, basketball was the cool sport. Guys had downtown Freddie Brown, the uniforms were cool, the players were cool. You guys have become baseball nerds. Hey, did you hear about his whip? Did you hear about his stats? Did you hear about his triple-double? The reason I fell in love with basketball as a kid, the players were cool, the nicknames were cool, the dunks were cool. I wasn't a stat nerd. This triple-double stuff doesn't mean anything.
It's 60 on
It does
30.
mean something.
You were cool at one point.
60 on 30 shots. That's what
This is a Russell Westbrook hangover from last year. That's exactly what it is. You hated on him so bad last year on all the stuff that he did. You hate the fact that guards rebound. Ask any coach in the league, if you have a rebounding guard, what a luxury that is. You have to, if you can get rebounds, then go do it. And if he's sharing the ball, he's sharing the ball. Good job.
117 triple-doubles last year.
Players are more skilled.
Players are more skilled. You can't, listen, the current NBA wouldn't allow Rodman or Ben Wallace to play. Listen, James is really talented. He's really talented. We have gone so overboard on the triple-double. I mean, who
He's
cares?
got a bit of a point on the triple-double.
That's because somebody averaged a triple-double last year. That's why.
But Eddie, we're living in a society where we're easily impressed now. You see somebody on Instagram who does a 360 dunk. Wow, look at that! And
Not me.
And the slam dunk contest and the three-point shootout. Everybody's easily impressed. And I looked at it. I was like, oh, 60. That's good. He took 30 shots. The rest of the starters took 27. I mean, this is the worst team in the league. Orlando, worst record. No Aaron Gordon last night, and it was a 2-point game with like a minute left.
By the way,
no Trevor Ariza.
300-yard, 300-yard passing games. When we were kids, it was a big deal. Andy Dalton reels those off because the league has changed.
Matthew Stafford.
Not everybody's throwing up 60, Colin.
With a triple-double.
No, screw the triple-double.
No, but
people just
triple-doubles-
don't put up 60.
Listen.
And he did it on 30 shots is very efficient, McIntyre. That's not...
So if that's a big deal, one game in January against an awful team. The Warriors lost by 30 to the Jazz. Is their season in peril? No, because it doesn't mean anything. Like that doesn't mean anything. It was an individual performance.
Colin, don't you go for the performance? Isn't that the point of
No,
sport?
you and me have always disagreed on this. You go for the performance. I go for the system and the win and the. I like the Patriots. You like.
You know, if the Houston wasn't winning, I would get what you're talking about. But they're the biggest threat to the Warriors. What James Harden and Chris Paul and that team is doing, it matters.
I like
fella.
bands. You like Bruno Mars.
I do too.
Actually,
I like Bruno Mars. I love Bruno Mars.
Colin, you lost me.
Bruno Mars is
I know.
man. I love him too.
I like him too, but my wife goes for individual stars. I like the band. See, I'm about.
You like the
community.
hooligans?
60 points, triple-double. They struggled to beat Orlando.
Oh, you said Orlando didn't have Gordon, right? Okay, but Eric Gordon went out played only 10 minutes. There was no Trevor Ariza and there was no Chris Paul, so that makes it that much more even impressive.
But Eddie,
because it don't matter how good or bad, they still got the game. They still won the game.
I'm running the risk of defending Cowherd here, but I don't think we could get the idea of James Harden against the Spurs last year out of our heads.
Thank you.
60 points on January 30th
Hey,
is real nice.
But you did get
Oh
Kobe.
my gosh.
Kobe played against us Game 7, didn't take a shot the second half, but y'all got that out y'all head, right?
No, I crushed Kobe for that. Here's the number I have with James Harden. At home, no Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker. At home, lost to San Antonio by 39 to end his season, quit. An hour later, he's at a nightclub, TMZ. That number, I can't get out of my head.
Well, the season
Quit.
was over with.
Quit.
He was trying to drink his worries away.
Let me play the kid card. And I hate when people do this.
kid
but I'm gonna
card?
play.
Uh-oh, here we
play
go.
the kid card. You got kids.
I do have kids.
If they were at that game last night and saw James Harden score 60 points, you're telling me that wouldn't be an indelible moment for your kids. I was there, James Harden put up
100%. You got it. That's a
Yep.
great point.
the performance. What are we playing the game for? The people in the arena. They went home with a memory last night that they won't forget. The guy 60 on 30 points.
You're the guy that ripped Kobe, who had 60 in his last
Because it
game.
was selfish, and he got it on 50.
I was pulling for him. Every
50
shot, I'm like,
shots.
come on, Kobe, get 60.
It's about the performance. It was a hell of a
Meaningless
performance.
game at the end of his.
Oh,
he should
and
have
that
been
meant
shared.
anything?
Yes.
No, that was a
What?
great performance
This is
by
good
Kobe.
right here.
What did that mean last night?
Another victory, potentially setting themselves up for home court advantage in the Western Conference.
Utah.
And he put his name in the history book, and he's the only one in there.
Thank you.